Good morning, folks. It's Lindsey Huddleston with SPS back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation. I hope you guys are doing okay. If any of you guys are on my timeline, it's easy to know what my weekend has been filled with and what today's Monday Motivation is titled. It is titled Homecoming. That's right. This weekend I had the opportunity to spend at Western Michigan University for Western Michigan University's homecoming. It also was the 60th chapter anniversary for my beloved Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Xi chapter. So we were able to go to the game, support the game. Shout out to my guy Q at Go Getters Clothing. You got to support them. But it was also time for the fraternity to get together. And it was just a good time, man. So I'm here to talk about homecoming, and it may not be exactly what you think. It's not just talking about homecoming, the tradition of homecoming, which actually has its origin as an alumni football game held at colleges and universities since the 19th century. That's where it really stems from. Good morning, Michelle Mimi Watkins. How are you? Good to see you this morning. I hope all is well. Appreciate you. And the man of the hour, John Ambrose, A5, brother, I want to thank you. On my mind, on my to-do list, to congratulate you for a job well done. You and the rest of the committee. You guys did an outstanding job, but not surprising as Alpha Men move like that, make things happen. We had a fun-filled schedule, great events all the way around, and nothing but good times. And here's my Sands, also the best man when I stood up in front of God in the world, John Higgins Jr., Dr. Higgins, if you really know what's going on. Good morning, Sands. Hey, man, kind of recovering from a long time, a great time. But Sands, what I want to talk to people about is the origin of homecoming, but not necessarily homecoming in that cultural phenomenon created by Beyonce and her homecoming flick that she did on Netflix that garnered her $20 million, by the way, part of a $60 million three-project deal. Just had to add that. I'm not talking about that. Or the same HBCU homecomings that we hear about all the time, or that Biggie so eloquently rapped about when we talk about going to Howard's homecoming. I know about that. I went to school at the ACU at Morehouse, and I knew how homecomings were responded to. But see, I'm also talking about not just the parades, the tailgates, the pep rallies, and the homecoming dance. This message for those who may not even have a collegiate homecoming. Everybody was in an alpha or in a sorority or a fraternity where they could come up. You know, some people had a different experience. Shout out to my guy Donez. He shot up from Detroit the night of, came and had the party started because he had those relations. But it may even be someone who's not even celebrating because they had a collegiate experience at all. I'm not talking about the GDIs that we refer to. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who may not even have a collegiate experience. This is not to harp on W.B. Du Bois' talented 10th, where I'm only talking about the educated elite. You know, the educated intelligentsia who joined organizations and went on and had these experiences. But your homecoming can be Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, family gatherings. It's more to it than that. I could just be talking about the holidays. And this is that holiday season. And let's be honest, guys, we're in that season where things like depression and post-traumatic stress are really on the rise. Homecoming is anytime you connect your past to your present and your future, folks. Follow what I'm saying here? That is a homecoming. Brother Roderick Wilson, greetings, big bro. You good? Your new nickname is 40. No, it should be 32 because those are 32 ounces, not 40 ounces. I appreciate those. Thanks for the love. These are all my Ezi brothers right here showing love this morning, man. It was so much brotherly love being transpired. Great men, great fathers, great friends, great leaders in this community. I want to talk about Dr. Thema. She is the president-elect of the American Psychological Association, and she's also an ordained minister as well as being a psychiatrist. And her studies talk about homecoming. She talks about, how should I say, just as you can be reminded of the high times, homecoming can remind you of the low times too. Let us not forget, we showed up in our black and gold and we represented this weekend. But when we go back to our collegiate experience, in particular at Western Michigan University, there were some lows there. There were some tragedies and all these things type of happening. He said the ice is still simmering. Yeah, we need that ice to kind of cool it down and make it happen, John. You right? But when we talk about that, I can remember times that people shared traumatic experiences, things that happened. And these are the things that affected me, but they must not define us. See, we can come back up to Western or wherever your respective institution is and spend time and hang out. But the other part of it is that doesn't tell a whole story. And as we get into this holiday season where, like I said, depression is on the rise and people are concerned, you have to realize that a homecoming experience, though it may be traumatic and saying, man, I got to be around my family. Are they going to judge me? Because in most cases, where you may be is not where you may have expected to be. So we get into this judgment and the idea that we should be doing more, doing different. But that may not be the case, folks. It just may very well be that you're going back to your school or you're getting back with your respective family and loved ones, and you just must understand that where you were then may not be where you are now. Or the experience you had then may not be giving you the outcome you wanted. But to her point, she said, those experiences affected me. They don't define me. Just know that homecoming is not real, but a temporary reflection on time and people in your past. Because even though we had a great time this weekend, boy, I remember getting those calls at Western, not knowing how this next semester was going to go. I remember trying to figure out what my next academic move was. I remember talking about changing my major. I remember talking about leaving school basically a year early because I was in a different major compared to something else. And those are just the academic discussions. Let's not talk about what happens when life gets in the way, when you're out in that bubble, that microcosm of the world on campus, and things are happening. And then I'll remove the collegiate talk. I'll talk about you just being a person in the world with these different experiences and things are happening. John says a walk or the walks might come down. The walks might come down. You're right. With that being said, Sands, here's the thing, guys. I just want you to know you are who you choose to be today. No matter what your past, your highs and your lows. Your collegiate days could have been some of your best days. You could have been a man or a woman on campus. Or when all your peers were in college, you may have gotten right into the workforce and got to the bag and were making it happen. And you start having success in the corporate world. So meaning that when you hear about homecoming, holidays, and this time, there's a potential that you can have a post-traumatic trigger and reflect back and say, man, these things are bothering me. But I'm just telling you that it's all about being present in today's moment. Yeah, we can look back to the times that we had. Yeah, those walls. Thank you, John. Or those walls might come down. Exactly, John. That's it, Sands. You got it. And we can think back to those times that we had, and you should feel good about it. You should highlight the great experiences, but also just know that we are a collection of all of our experiences. Huh? What did I say? We are a collection of all of our experience, good and bad. Shout out to Brother Ambrose again. He put in this, comments, thanking everybody. He said, thanks, brothers, for all the pats on the back, and basically said the criticisms. When you take on a position of leadership or when you put yourself out there, you suscept yourself to criticism. John Ambrose knows that in his leadership role. Dr. John Hagins knows that in his leadership role of the Flint graduate chapter as well. But what I just want to say, guys, is let's look at homecoming as something to embrace and take all the emotions, the highs and lows and good and bad, and just know that who we were then is not who we are now. And where we were then is not where we are now. Follow me? And we can go places. You can do more. If you didn't like, who you were then, work on being a better person now. If you're not happy with who you are now and wish you can reflect back to those days, you still have that moment. I just don't want homecoming to be a negative trigger for you guys and a bad thing to look at, but just a new experience going forward. Yeah, we had a great time, but everybody wasn't, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha or whatever sorority may be, or being involved in a fraternity sorority, period. Everybody didn't hit a college campus and have that experience. Everyone can't relate to that, but everybody can relate to the idea of everybody coming together and reflecting on who you are. And let me tell you something. In 2022, if you can hear my voice, watch these images, you're successful. Not because you're dealing with Lindsay Huddleston and SPS, because you're in the land of the living with an opportunity to improve. If life has taught us anything, that every day is precious. Part of our celebration was acknowledging those who are in our Omega chapter, referring to the last chapter in the Greek alphabet. Omega is gone. Shout out to Robert Mongo, my Sands, Asur. Shout out to him. He's no longer with us. So while we celebrated and had a good time, there were those times that we had to reflect on the negative things that have happened. So all I want to tell you guys on this day, that homecoming is a great time to get together, a great time to relate. But as we come back to the reality of our world, just like we would if we came back after Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, let's just know that whoever you are today is who you choose to be. Whoever you are today is who you choose to be, meaning the decisions you can make. I was up this morning working on other projects before we even started the Monday Motivation. I could have slept in and say, no, I'm just tired from this weekend. I want to do this. My brother Ambrose says, we can change our present by changing our attitude. Make a new tradition if you don't like the old ones. We are human and we are pliable. Brother pliable, I appreciate that. Let's talk about what he just said. If you didn't like what the past was, you can change it. And that's what I want to emphasize today. Brother Ambrose hit it right on the head. You can change that. You can have an impact. So don't be like, man, I used to be live back in college, or back when my homeboys and homegirls went away to college and I was out here getting this money, it was this. That's great. We can reflect back on that. But just like we can reflect back on that, we can think about our present moment. Anything you started, anything you want to do, you can start today to do something different. Don't let time get you. We say, oh, I don't have time for that, or I'm too old, I'm this, and that. I want to be honest, man. I think within our lifetime, we may change careers a few times, have new evolutions and new developments. So I just want homecoming, the holidays, and getting together with loved ones, not to be a trigger of negativity, but also an idea to think about how positive my future can be going forward. And the last thing I'll say, it's all about service, all about giving, all about being brotherly or sisterly to someone else, whether you're in a sorority or fraternity or not, and what we can do to impact others. Again, I want to thank my brothers for leading the way, for holding it down. I want to thank all the younger brothers. There was so many young brothers up in there, man. I don't know who them young brothers were, but they knew about the 12 Apostles of Alpha. They knew about Black Ice or whatever it may be. So with that being said, I want you guys to have a great day, have a great week, have a great month, have a great year. And again, shout out to the brothers of Alpha, the committee, John Ambrose, who I have right here, my Sands, John Hagins, Roderick Wilson, all these good brothers who are doing good things in their personal and professional lives, representing and holding up the light just right. With that being said, 06, all the best to you guys, and enjoy your homecoming. Take care. Peace.